Hello all you lovely tubers. I've just coughed. That's better. And I steamed up my visor. It's not a good start, is it? It's cold out here today, let me tell you. I haven't done a ride home video for a while, so I thought I'd do one. And I thought I'd just have a chat. I'll let him go. Riding home in daylight, it's about 10 to 4 now, I think it is. 20 to 4. Really dropped down the weather, but it's not bad, to be honest. At least it's not wet. So I thought I'd have a little have a couple of things. I'm going to start with a whinge on the bike on the NC, and then I'm thinking I'm going to go through, is it worth buying a new one of these or a second-hand one, because they're that reliable, and that's the truth of it. Right, let's go to, on this model of NC, for me, I've owned this now 8 months or 9 months. I have 3 gripes with it, really. First gripe, and it's part of it, is the tank underneath the seat. The tank underneath the seat, when you want to go away and you want to pack up luggage on the back and camping, because I'm planning on doing that, it's a ball ache. You can do it, it's like anything, you can do anything you really want to. It's just the time it takes when you need to top up. You have to loosen the luggage to actually lift the back seat a bit, and you know, that's part of it. And I suppose the good side about it is it's got a hell of a range on this bike. It's got 250 miles. You can get 250 miles on a full tank. So that's my first real gripe. And I think with Honda, you know, I sat down and thought, if I was an engineer and I could quite cure that, and I would just run a funnel that went into the tank and it went under the actual behind the license plate. So the license plate could have a flip on it, a little release clip that flips it up when you take it into a garage, and then you fill it up, and there we are. You've just eliminated loads of grief. Second gripe, battery. The battery is inside the frunk, and I've got to do a video on this one. I've got one on my channel somewhere. When I learn how to link them and show you them in the video, I'll link them up for you so you can see them, where my very first NC, it broke down because it had a dodgy battery. Basically, that's all it was. And the battery is inside the frunk, and on the early ones from 15 to well, the NC700 and NC750s, the battery was at the front, under the frunk, inside it. It's at the front of it. The new ones are at the back, and they're just as much a ball ache to actually open up and connect things to. They're really difficult. So if you wanted to access that and jump start it on the side of the road or AA, you've got to start on doing loads of stuff to get at it. It is an absolute ball ache. So that's the that is my second thing. The third thing is the dash. I don't like the dash. You know, I've sat and looked at it, and I just think, this bike is what, £9,500 or 9,600, 9,700 pound with the DCT. You're getting CB500s with better dashes than these. You know, and there's a part where, you know, cutting back is one thing, but come on, Honda, put a decent, put a decent looking dash on with a bit of colour, a TFT on there, and lift it up a little bit. Because it does what it needs to do, but that's it. So getting on to my next point, because I've had 3 of these. I've had a 2015 blue one, which I think, to be quite honest with everyone, I'll be honest, was probably my favourite NC. I think because it was my first NC. Now, the differences between them. When this 2020 model come about, they made it really more for the road. They really took it into commuting and urban adventure, motorways and urban riding. That's what they really pushed it to. And the early one, it had a nicer suspension, a little bit taller, a little bit higher on the seat height. Handlebars were a little bit narrower. It just, all in all, felt a nicer bike, and it did to ride. weren't as quick as this off the mark. This bike is quicker than the older NC off the mark, but you're talking marginal. And I mean, when I say you're marginal, you'd be talking, you'd have to be next to each other. You know, I'm pulling away at the lights and that'd be in front by about 4 feet, 5 feet. I think that's about the difference. I don't really think you can tell the difference with the gearing. The gearing is different because it's DCT. You don't really notice. It's in top gear and off it goes. But it's the other side about it. The deals on these now, when you're looking MCN, when you're looking Auto Trader, when you look online on eBay, you're getting some really good discounts off these bikes. You are getting some really good discounts on them. And you've got to say to yourself, like when I bought this, alright, the difference is, this is a PCP. So at the end of, on the 4-year lease I've got on this, after 2 it will go back, and then I'll change it. Or I may not, I may keep it. I may keep it, I may buy it. Like, no one knows, you know, unless you're a millionaire, what your income is and what you've got. But the two of the bikes from 2015 onwards are just absolutely superb bikes. There's nothing between them, in my opinions. You know, it's like anything. As soon as you get a new brand, a new bike comes out, you automatically think that bike's going to be better. It may have tweaks that a little bit better. It may have, like this has got first, third and fifth gear are different than what they are on the original NC, but you as a rider, you cannot tell the difference. And no matter who they are, they can't tell the difference. And then you come down to the side of, if you buy a second-hand one, that's £1,800, £2,000 cheaper, which you're getting these on a 20 plate for six grand. Now, which is really, really good money. So when you start getting bikes for this sort of price, you then, to throw £1,000 at your suspension, it's not as painful. And then you're really uplifting the bike. You're really changing it. Give me your thoughts on it. Tell me what you rather do in this day and age. Would you rather just go out and, like I've done, I think more than anything you PCP it for reliability. You've not got the issues of that if it breaks down. I know Honda are going to fix this. You know, there's no support. Honda will fix this if there's anything wrong. But that isn't for the full 4 years, by the way. I think that's only for 2 years on this Honda. So you've only got 2 years warranty on it, and you're in a 4-year lease. In terms of a bike that can literally go anywhere, this bike can go anywhere. It is an absolute sublinder of a bike. 70 plus to the gallon everywhere you go. You know, cars are not getting that. The smoothness, I'm on now 50/50 knobbly tyres, which makes it a little bit more vibrating than my Dunlops were, but you can't tell the difference. Now the next set of tyres that will go on this will be road 6s, so they'll be proper road tyres, and that again will change the handling of this bike completely. It will change the smoothness of it on the roads, and you know, it'll lose the ability on the dirty gravel roads. But for now, I have my Himalayan to do that. Now back to buying the bike yourself. The other side, you've got 20% of your £8,900 or £8,600 is VAT on the road costs. It's a hell of a lot of money. So let me know what you think. Would you rather buy one second hand? Are you happy to do that? Or would you rather just go into the shop and get a brand new one and get it all done? Now, the other side to the servicing's around about £240 for the second service on this via Honda themselves, and that's oil filter, DCT filter, checking all the and that's it, just checking all the fixings, checking all the settings are actually torqued correctly. That's what you're paying for that service. And you're having, in fairness, you're having a quality mechanic, someone who works on that bike on Honda day in, day out. So if there's anything that is to go wrong, they will find it. But a typical example, look at Freddie Dobbs. If you ever watch Tuesday with Dobbs, you'll see his Triumph T120, I think it is. He took that into a Triumph Specialist and it still broke. And now he's got an individual person who fixes his own bikes in his garage. He doesn't do it as a living, that's what it's a hobby. He's fixing it for him. So then you've got to say to yourself, because we're all more than capable of learning how to manage our bikes. There is more than enough information now. There's more than enough help out there that would help you, even if you've never picked up a spanner before. And all as it's about, it's confidence and repetition. That's all it is. Having the confidence to pick up that spanner and undo something and make a start, and then when you repeat it, that's how you become skillful at it. Right, so that's my thought on new and old. I think if I was to go back 3 or 4 years, I would buy myself, I would buy a fairly newish bike second hand to actually save the money, is what I would do. And the other thing that YouTube have noticed has done, and me being one of them, that you fall into it quite quickly, you start looking at many different bikes, listening to YouTubers and saying that bike's better than this one, that bike can't do this, this bike can't do that. You never know what a bike can do until you ride it, or until you're in that position where you're stuck on that dirty track, or where you're in a foreign country riding down an open road, or whether you broke down on the side of the road. You don't know until that moment comes. And that's the experience of life. You know, that's part of biking. That's what makes biking, is them experiences. What a lovely sunset, eh? Wow. Sunsetting's later, which is great, and that is fabulous, isn't it? Now, I've changed all my camera setup on the helmet, so for the first time in a year, probably, since I've had this helmet, I can actually close the visor properly now. I've actually screwed the actual clamp onto the helmet. Which well, at the moment feels great. I've also redone all the audio on it, so I've still got the same audio lead that goes into my GoPro 9 Black, only I've put some soundproofing around it, and it's fastened into the helmet. That's been moved and well covered. Now on the way into work today, I was going down the motorway a bit quicker than this, and it seems to have worked. The audio seems to be a lot better. I'm a lot happier with what it sounds like, and that's without it going into CapCut and being edited. We've got a little bike flying up the inside here. Where's he going? Well, there he goes. A little MT-07 or an MT-09. Lovely little things, aren't they? It's like you sat on fresh air on them, isn't it? Is it an 09? Yeah, it's the 09, I think. Yeah, SP09. My nephew has one. They are a fabulous little thing, but they're just sheer power. You get on that bike, honest to God, people. I had the Speed Triple, and it's an older Speed Triple in fairness, and I found the Speed Triple, very powerful bike, but very, very heavy at the front end. Very difficult to move around the garage. You know, once you're on the bike, like anything, there it goes. Once you're on the bike, you just go like the clappers. But I think if I was to get a pure naked like that, it would be the MT-09. Or I think there is an SP9. But it's a beast. It is an out-and-out license killer. And that's the thing with the NC. The NC, I can't go stupid speeds. Top speed of 111 miles an hour or 120 miles an hour. Do you know, I don't even know, because I've not done it. I've no intentions of doing it. If I was 30, I would be behind that screen. My elbow would be twisted right down to my kneecap, and I'd be going down the motorway and have me back pegs down, and have my feet on my back pegs and be lying on the tank, on the front, sorry, getting the most out of it. I'm double that age. I'm not interested in that anymore. I'm much happier 45 mile an hour, one-handed, looking at what's around me, knowing I'm going to stop, knowing I'm not going to be sucking food through a straw, with my legs anchored in multiple different places, knowing that these guys are not going to be there to give me to retain all the cash from me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you get different as you get older. Your adrenaline disappears, but I don't regret it, because I've had the sports bikes, I've had the, I mean, I'm not being funny, it's like the MT09, nowhere near, it wouldn't have even touched my R6, it wouldn't have touched my R1, my Thundercat, about the same. You know what I mean? They were beasts, and there was none when I had mine. There was none of this. He's going to come in there. There was none of this traction control. There was none of all these aids to help you go around corners. No, it was yourself, and that's on the last video where we're selling the NT. I can't sell it, and my nephew's following me in the lanes. And he said to me, I just couldn't keep up with you. He says, I'm on a faster bike and I couldn't keep up with you. And that's experience. That's because and I'm on a bike that I'm really, really familiar with. I'm really comfortable on. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of going down on this bike. You'll never get your knee down on it. Well, I suppose you could if you really wanted to. But it's just not that bike. And what was even more shameful, I beat him on knobbly tyres. That's bad, isn't it? And undoubtedly, you know, comments out there, you're quite right. People who are proper petrol heads in the leathers on the MT09, I wouldn't even see them in the bends if you could ride a bike properly. You wouldn't even see them, because that bike is a beast. It is. It is a bit of a widow maker, I think, that one. So that's been me ride home rant and review on should you buy a new NC or an old one. And I would actually say to you again, buy a really nice second-hand one that's been looked after. And that, you know, if you're short of pennies, if you know really are on a budget, if you're going to put 6 grand, 7 grand into a bike, you would not go wrong putting your 7 grand into one of these, because you would actually, I believe, get more enjoyment over a longer period of ownership owning it than having like the MT09, because the MT09 or the MT07, it's a blaster bike. Go down the lanes for a couple of hours and blast it. This, you could just sit on it all day long and you're comfy all day long. But anyway, let me know in your comments, am I right, am I wrong? That's my view. You know, and that's the best thing about it. That is my view. There's people that have probably, you'll be screaming at the screen now saying, no, they're not like that. But if I didn't enjoy this bike so much, who would come out and riding in, I think it's 0 now, the temperature outside. That's the other side with it. It hasn't got an outside temperature gauge. Why don't they put an outside temperature gauge on them? It's pennies for them. I just, little things like that do let them down in this day and age. It's just a nice thing to have on your bike. And this is the first day this year that I've actually ridden home in the light. It's actually light. Believe it or not, yesterday I left about the same time and it was dark. And the snow's coming, I believe. But to be honest, I don't even think that'll stop me. Get on there. And they're in trouble, aren't they? The post office. That's diabolical, that. Watching that on the news today, and they're talking about all these people on the post office's software from Fujitsu. And they're talking about how are we going to take these criminal offences off these people. There shouldn't be any question about it. It should just be gone. Anyway, we're not getting onto that because I really don't want to get onto politics because of the state of the people out on the country on all sides. And we know. Do you know the thing is? It's like eating cake, isn't it? You know it's going to make you fat. But you still do it, so you'll still go out and vote for the buggers. So, who's to blame? Is it them to blame or is it us? Anyway, we're not going any further on that. I've had a really nice ride home. I hope you've enjoyed a little journey back. Can't wait for the weather to get better. I've got to get things done in my garage. I've got to get me KLE back together now. That's been apart too long. That's well overdue, that thing. The Bergman is well overdue. I've got the new CDI unit for that, and that'll be a case of pulling it all down, checking it, because it hasn't even been started up for nearly 6 months, the Bergman. My God, that wind over that motorway is horrendous. And next year I want to get as many rides out, want to get camping done, hoping to get to the Richard V's Wild Bad Weekend do. Really did enjoy that last year, really did enjoy it, and if you've never been to it, it's worth going. He really does make an effort. Now the other side is people saying about the ABR festival, I've never been to it, so whether I'll try and squeeze that one in as well, I don't know. I think the biggest problem, more than anything, well, money is one of the main things, because these little events are not cheap, even if you're feeding yourself. You know, you're buying them, your ticket's 100 quid plus, your petrol is so much, well, the petrol is peanuts, but your food, your drink, but your time. You know, what time you have when you're there. But when you do them, oh, it's well worth it. So I've not started my plans, and my other plan was I want to get abroad on my NC. I want to actually get to maybe like Santander, something on the ferry. Maybe find something local in the area and ride out on a daily basis from there, like the Richard V tours. But again, there were a lot of planning, and there's a lot of different legislation in when you're riding abroad with your number plates and things like that. So all of that I've got to look into. Right, at that, my lovely people, thank you all for watching, subscribing, supporting me. I'm humbled by you, I really am humbled. And I hope you carry on watching. I hope you really do enjoy it. So from the Birchwood Biker, ride safe, be kind to others, with love, they'll be kind to you. We'll see you on the next one.